Hi, my name is Firas. I'm trying here to show you a simple method to export files, AutoCAD files into 3D Studio Max, and it's very basic level. It's kind of different from lots of methods that I found on YouTube. Basically depend on sending the entire AutoCAD file into 3D Studio Max. I think this method gives you a better way or easier way to control of each architectural element. So I'm going to send each element like walls, doors, by itself as an AutoCAD file into Max and then import it inside Max and give it the right height and the right extrude. Anyway, I'll start up here with this building, very simple building. Just have an inside dimension level, it's inside level, sorry, and later on exercise I'm going to show you more complicated geometries with landscape and external fences and all that, double levels maybe. And here we have just one level, and 4000 to 0, that's the levels, and just the normal fence, normal wall here. That's the baluster here, the first floor and the ground floor. So I'll zoom in here, turn off some unrequired layers like the hatch, dimension, some grid lines here, and those bubbles also, and I'll keep those. Anyway, I'll activate the layer command, and before actually we're supposed to go to layer, we're supposed to go to units. Sorry for that. Double check what type of units you have. Let's say it's millimeter. Make sure that inside 3D Max in the customize unit setup you also have metric millimeters here, so metric and millimeter same as AutoCAD. And then from system unit setup also make sure that millimeter has been chosen here. Now back to AutoCAD. In the layer, I highly recommend that you create this in a separated layer. Call it whatever you like, and I'll just change the color into red, probably make it current. You can do that, you can do the entire process without creating any layer. I find that easier to turn it off if I want to depend on the main AutoCAD file that I'm still under developing and creating 3Ds for it. Anyway, PL polyline, and I will start by making a closed loop here or a polyline depending on the external edges of this AutoCAD file. And when you reach the last point, make sure you hit C on keyboard or close. So you're gonna have actually here a closed loop, as you can see. Make an offset for it, space, and I believe it's 250, the thickness of the wall. And as you can see, you have now double line that represent the external walls. Make sure you don't take the inside partition with it. Now right block, select objects. I'm going to send this and this, and as write them as new blocks here. The process here is I'm going to select those two lines that they represent the wall, the external wall, and send them separately as an entire AutoCAD file here. I'm going to name it new block. It's already a file I've been using, so the AutoCAD may ask me to replace it, and I did. Inside Max, now you go File, Import, and choose the file new block that you just created, accept the default here, and you're gonna see that in all viewports. So now you need to double check two things. First, where it is, so right click on move, and of course you have to select and then right click on the move. See that the Z value is 0. Make sure that it's the same thing here, so that's 0 here, and in 3D Studio Max is 0 too. Now you need to double check the second thing is how high it is, and it's technically 5200 as the first floor baluster shows. So here in the modify, you're going to add an extrude value modified with a value of 5,200. Sorry, 5,200. And now the geometry is exactly as it's supposed to be, 5,200 with 0 as the main level it has. Now in the material editor, just try to give any other material rather than the default one, the black one that we have here. Now we technically have a 3D walls created depending on what we have in here. Now you need to, in AutoCAD, now we need to make the flow. So by creating the flow, I will ask a right block here, make a right block here, but this time depending only on the inside polyline. I'll just leave it in the same place. So again, AutoCAD will ask me to replace it, and I did. In Max, we need to import again, and same file, same process. And inside 3D Max, you see that red line here, and that's represent the new line that represent the flow. Again, it's located at 0. Same here. And all horizontal surfaces inside Max should have an extrude like others, with one exception. It should have a negative value, so I'll say minus 200. And then I'm gonna give the same material that I gave to the walls to it, just for getting rid of this black starting material. So anyway, lots of people ask why negative value, just the 200 of course for the thickness of the slab, but the negative is because I like when I select this slab, AutoCAD, 3D Studio Max only, it's 0, so I know the level of it. Some people say no, I will go minus 200 here and then here positive 200. It's technically the same, but I think when you select any flow later on when you work on 3D Studio Max, you want to know it's 0 or 5,000 or whatever, what's actually the level of that, the floor finish, rather than knowing or do some kind of simple math here to know what level it is. Anyway, another flow here, which is the roof, actually 4,000. So instead of repeating the process of importing, just select this, because technically it's the same. Hit Ctrl V on your keyboard to make an instance copy of it, and then give that Z value of 4,000. And you're gonna see here in this front, that's the 4,000 and that's the 0. And the lovely thing here is when you select that, it tells you 4,000. When you select that, it tells you it's 0. So that's the good thing in it. Anyway, again, this kind of gap going to be hidden in the next tutorial that I'm going to show you when we design or model the walkway and the landscape outside this building. Anyway, so that's basically the external form of the building. For windows and doors, it's quite easy. Again, I'll go REC here instead of polyline, and I will depend on the existing file with the polar and extension on to draw a big rectangle here. I highly advise to make a bigger geometry than the width of the wall itself to make an exact and correct Boolean process later on. So W again, select objects and pick that shape. Again in Max, import, new block, same thing. And you're gonna see here, it's already been added to 3D Studio Max. That's the location of it. Again, the Z value is 0. That's what the door is actually sitting at, the floor finish. And the height will be the same height of the window, so it should be 2,200. So I'm gonna add an extrude here, positive this time, 2200. And again, it's highly recommended to give a material before you do the Boolean, to make it correct without any sub-materialing here. And now select the external walls, go to the Create tab, and then select Compound Objects and go for Pro Boolean. I highly advise that rather than Boolean. And then start picking, and as you can see that AutoCAD actually, 3D Max actually cut the out of the walls. I'm gonna change the way the viewport here shown. Go for clay, kind of easier, see the inside of the building modeled exactly as the AutoCAD file. Back to AutoCAD, do the same thing here for the window. Again, ortho and extension should be on. Right block, and then select this window. Back to Max. Again, import it. And this time, the sill height is 1000 and the height of the window itself is 1200. So you should have added here the sill height, which is 1000. So you're technically elevating this shape to the sill height, and then you're going to add the extrude modifier to it, which is supposed to be 1200. And that problem that I always face with my student, that they love to add too much booleans here, that you don't need to. With Pro Boolean, it allows you to pick another object here, so you don't need to add another boolean or a Pro Boolean. And as you can see now, we have both doors and windows opened. I will try to show you in the next tutorial how to make a walkways, landscape, and even 2 floors. Wish that you like it. Thank you.